But really though, I was really thinking about this though, because we should just move in with this talk about how Kobe Bryant truly is like the most skilled basketball player to play basketball. Like I love Michael Jordan. I think he's the greatest player ever. But I think Kobe might be the most ever. I was listening to Dick. What's the guy? Their former trainer. God, can you? Gary Vitti.
Gary Vitti.
Yeah, Gary Vitti. Gary Vitti was on Rogan and Rodney. This interview was old, but they were doing all of their like New Year's. The best.
I remember this interview.
Because he was talking about the whole shit with Magic. But he talked about how Kobe just had this crazy work ethic. And it was something similar to how we was talking in our texts about how Kobe wasn't the best athlete. He wasn't the fastest. He didn't jump the highest. Like on an NBA level, it was guys that ran faster than him. It was guys that jumped harder than him. But it was his mentality and his work ethic and his like attention to detail is what made Kobe so great. And then like when you look at guys like LeBron later in their careers, like LeBron is still a great player, which is fascinating for a man that is in year 17 who lives solely off his athleticism to still be living off his athleticism.
I don't think he just lives off his athleticism. Yeah, I think that's sliding Braun heavily.
No, don't get me wrong. I think he's skilled. But he's
the best. He's the best.
He
brain
still doesn't have a fundamental cross.
Every court he steps on, he's the best brain. Nobody's smarter on the court than LeBron James.
From a passing aspect, yes, I do think LeBron is. I don't think, but from like moves wise, LeBron isn't the most tactical move or footwork guy. Like LeBron still hasn't implemented a dominant post game at this point in his career, which he should have. All of the guys we talk about who are the GOATs had a footwork that is out of this world, and he doesn't. Like LeBron, he's a big imposing figure and should be killing guys in the post, but he doesn't.
I feel like he does take advantage of the post. He's got like a decent little turnaround J, and then he'll spin and go to the rim.
It's levels decent though.
Yeah,
Kobe
like,
shit wasn't
we don't need
decent.
It's this. I feel like this isn't fair though too,
but this is a
because
skill thing.
Right.
We're talking about skill. LeBron is God-given, amazing athlete,
and he's much more than that. Like Jacob said,
he has a handle. He has the best passing ability in the court.
I don't know. But he has a lot of skill. Don't get me wrong. Like, but when we're talking about the greatest, it's always nitpicking to me. So I'm just nitpicking really because I think LeBron's amazing.
And I think size, there's not a better handle probably at his size and passing ability.
I think Magic passed just as good as he did. Probably better. I think Magic probably was a better passer than him. Magic has flash. Hell with those passes. And those were dimes.
I think it's hard, and I think it's like it's super easy to get super technical about it because Kobe was a mirror image of Jordan with a lot of his moves. Like he studied Jordan
athleticism.
But like as far as moves and like you said, technical ability and skill, like it was the same package. So it's so easy to be like they're both like this, and LeBron has no skill. We're like. With LeBron's size, why would he implement? Why would LeBron implement that type of skill and that type of package when that's not his game? Like that's not what he's bred for.
But
he's bred to come downhill. What do you mean? Why not? Like it's not.
Why you can't go downhill forever? Why can't LeBron post guys up at a more high level?
You can't. I just saw him Phoenix Suns downhill.
No, like in a half-court set, LeBron should be killing guys more in the post, in my opinion, is what I'm saying. I feel like we're just nitpicking. Like, we're really just nitpicking.
for sure.
Like when, put it like this: if I throw, since we're talking about these three guys, since we're really nitpicking, if I had to throw, if these guys are playing one-on-one in the post, if I threw Jordan and Kobe the ball 10 times in the post against all three of them, I think Kobe and Jordan probably score 8-7 times. I think LeBron scores 5.
No,
there's no knock on LeBron. I think,
but it's like I feel like you're only thinking about it from like the Jordan package of moves. Like I think Bron's post moves are successful.
Bron's a lot of bully ball,
but that's fine. I feel like they're still successful, and I feel like there's still skill in that.
Yeah, I guess in a one-on-one scenario, bully ball would work because obviously you can bully somebody.
I do believe it's easier to defend in a game setting. Like if you're gonna bully ball, like that's you can really collapse when he gets to the rim, and you can collapse with the center, and it's really difficult, and that's where his brain and passing ability comes into play. I totally get that. But if we're talking one-on-one, like you said, I feel like the bully ball is going to be pretty successful.
Yeah, bully ball and one-on-one, ain't nobody stopping him. I think Jordan still beats him all because he's fucking psycho. But bully ball, though, in a one-on-one scenario, you can't stop. But in a game, though, that's what my whole thing. I'm just really nitpicking because I love LeBron. In a game, he ain't bully balling nobody because in a team aspect, they're going to help.
Right, you can help.
So, but, like, Kobe and Jordan didn't give a fuck about that help. Spin move, fadeaway, cup. Like, LeBron has a good fadeaway, but it's levels to these fadeaways.
LeBron's fadeaway is like an 82, and I'm sorry, guys. LeBron's fadeaway is like an 82, and, Jordan and Kobe's is like a 99. if we're talking computer ratings. Like it's knocked down from Kobe and Jordan.
I agree, man. I agree. But like I said, I think Kobe might low key be the most.
All right, before Terrence gets us in a 40-minute debate, he knows well. I'll talk Kobe. Kobe against anybody. I'll talk anybody's side of it for 15, 20, 35 an hour. But this is the Other Team Podcast, guys. Thanks for plugging in. Zach Candy, Terrence Scott, Jay Candy. Gosh, I'm starting to lose track of these episodes. I'm running out of fingers and toes. I think this is EP8, maybe
9.
EP9.
EP9.
So as always, thanks
9?
for everybody for plugging, listening, all the good stuff. That's always good and fun and whatnot. 3-2 since the last time the Clippers met. Just real quick.
9.
Couple ugly losses. The weird one after Christmas, and then the weird one before Christmas with the Utah and Oklahoma City right there. But the big one was Christmas Day, and we'll get into that a little later. But first, it's a happy New Year and a happy decade. And we got some decade debate going on. We put it out. We got some good stuff. We put it out on Twitter. In a couple minutes, we're gonna go live and get on that. But quick thoughts. Are we fans of the all decade love to like guys like James Harden and stuff like that? I mean, I feel like some of these new age guys got a lot of the love, living in the moment type love.
I think it was weird that AD got on there instead of Kawhi. I won't lie. Or was it Kawhi on the one that he didn't get in? I couldn't believe it.
I don't think Kawhi should be on the all decade team.
That's crazy to think of me. He's got 2 titles. He beat
LeBron and KD 100% should be in front of him.
That's fine, but there's still room for him. There's still room.
But on the all-decade team, I feel like we're kind of doing positions, so we can't solely just go guards and then just forwards. So I feel like the best way to do this is truly to have actual positions in the all-decade team. So having Kawhi on there,
it could be like
all-decade team.
Could be like the All-Star team, like 3 front court, 2 back court. If you do it like that, then Kawhi still makes it.
But then they have no actual front court player. LeBron, Kawhi, KD, no.
KD's 7 foot. He could be my center.
AD should be the guy. I don't think AD is the center of this decade that should have made it. But I do believe Kawhi's second team all decade if we're gonna really get down to it.
No way.
Kawhi?
I can't put a guy who has 2 finals MVPs in the decade. I can't put him second team. Does anybody have more than that? No way.
Doesn't Steph have equal to that? No, Steph only has one because Iggy stole one. Oh,
Iggy stole it, and the other one, Steph wasn't the best.
KD got one too.
The other one was KD. Yeah, the other one was KD, which was right. But so who's on the all decade team? Why are we? Did you already go live, Drake?
No, I thought we were going to talk something. I thought we were going to recap Christmas first, but it's fine. I can jump right into all decade.
We had a 7:00 time. I could delay it. I mean, it's not a problem if you guys want to delay. We can go Christmas first. We got Kobe. We got not Kobe, LeBron. I blacked out.
I'm down to go all decade right in. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's a happy New Year, man.
Ready to fire that all decade up.
I am ready to fire that all decade up, man. AD on it is fucking buffoonery to me. Sorry, it's bleeping buffoonery. That's living in the moment right there. That's all that is living in the moment when you put AD on that.
100%.
And living in Lakerland hype.
So what centers do you think our power forward should be on it? Because I do think it should be a big man. I'm not going to lie. I really do believe it should be a big man.
Why? The game of basketball is moving away from traditional positions like that. I don't see that.
Yeah, but when
Twitter Live,
okay, but if we're gonna talk about the all-decade team, though,
can't really hear them. You can only hear me. Not gonna lie. There is the gang right there, though. There's our humble host Zach. There's our other host Terrence. Gang's here. You just let us know about the all-decade team. Basically, the discussion right now is whether AD belongs to be on there. And Terrence says yes. Or no, not that it's AD, but it needs to be a big. And Zach and myself are basically under the impression that Kawhi must be on the list, and it should be 3 front court and 2 guards like an all-star game. It's basically where we stand right now. Let us know what you think. I'm not going to lie. If you do it like the all-star game, there's no way you leave Kawhi out, and it just makes the most sense to me, to keep it honest.
I don't see why you have to have it like the majority of games when we're finishing. When we're finishing games, there's not even bigs on the court. Why do we have to put him in the all-decade team?
It is a big on the court when you
Kevin Durant is 7 foot. Why can't Kevin Durant be the big? I don't get
He
that.
ain't never been. Kevin Durant used to
He's
lie
not a
about his
big.
height.
I don't get
He used to lie about his height not to be a big. Like, what do you mean? That's why he's not a big man.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like we're bringing Clipper love into it, but I think Kawhi deserves to be on there. 2 different cities, 2 finals. He took down LeBron the first time in the Heatles, and then the next best franchise is the Warriors, and he takes them down with a different team. I don't see how you leave that off of your all-decade team. Like, I just don't understand it.
it's not even a Clipper thing.
He's
If
a
Kawhi
dynasty
would have
killer.
stayed, it's still Kawhi on that list to me. Or if he went to the Lakers, wherever, it's Kawhi, period.
But the thing is, though, you can also argue outside of the championship, because it's hard to argue championships, but when you're talking all-decade teams, you're kind of talking about personal accolades. So you could easily also go with recent hindsight and go Steph Curry, Harden. Since we're not doing positions, you can go Steph Curry, Harden, Westbrook, KD, LeBron.
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that's a 3 guard. I still like the thought of like 3 front court, 2 guards.
But the only thing about Kawhi that I have a problem with throwing him on this all-decade team is that Kawhi he's great in moments. Like, he has these spectacular moments that you will always remember in history. But like, I can't ignore these guys who like have a
transcended in an era.
Yeah, and have more like of a track record. Like, don't get me wrong, like Kawhi's spectacular. He had these great moments and capitalized in every moment he had. But these guys also have the consistency. Like, Westbrook had 3 years of triple doubles. Like, that's absurd. We thought that touchable.
Here's another one that was weird to me. I feel like people automatically go Harden over Westbrook, and you could totally say like your second guard could be Westbrook and not Harden in my eyes, considering the MVP, the triple doubles thing, all that. You could. I'm just saying.
But that dude might be the greatest scorer ever, and it's like I don't personally feel that way, but he could be though.
He's the best scorer of our generation in our lifetime. He's probably the best scorer. Maybe KD. Outside of Kevin Durant. Maybe outside of Kevin Durant. That's the only person I would say.
For sure outside of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant, and I always say this, 7-foot wiggle burner. It's unguardable. It's unfair.
But Steph's also unguardable too. That's a crazy thing. Like, that's
James Harden is a better scorer though.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Steph gets no hate on this list though. Steph's 100% on this list.
Oh, bro, unanimous MVP. It's not even close. Steph is like Steph and Bron are the first 2 names out your mouth. Steph, Bron, KD are like the 3 locks. Like, you obviously cannot not put them.
My 5 would be Steph, Harden, Westbrook, Kawhi. I mean, not Kawhi, KD, and LeBron. Since we're not gonna go bigs, because I don't.
You're taking AD out, and you're still not putting in Kawhi. You're putting in Westbrook instead.
I'm going with the longevity. Like, this dude did something we thought was untouchable and did it 3 straight years, and then we got to the point where it was like it's stale. He's chasing stats, and it's like, nah, man, that shit's still hard to do.
It's like, definitely hard to do.
What Luka's doing now, we're glorifying shit out of what Luka's doing now, and it's like this dude did it 3 straight years. Don't get me wrong, it's dope that Luka's doing it at such a young age, and I think that is one of the reasons why. But this man did it 3 straight years, and we got bored of him doing it.
Yeah, I think it's more than Luka. I think because like everybody's doing triple doubles that it's just so watered down. Like Jimmy Butler's
the game
got
is played.
It's easier. Your star player is going to get them.
You don't have bigs anymore. So, like, to Zach's point, you don't really have bigs out there fighting for rebounds. So, and even some bigs are giving up rebounds. Like Steven Adams ruined his rebounding stats because he just decided not to rebound.
What's crazy is like people don't crash the glass anymore. It's like the way basketball is played is come down, get an early shot, like your first good look, take it, and get back on defense. Like, no one really crashes glass and tries to get extra possessions. The only time you get them is off of long rebound threes for the most time.
Give me early basketball before this new shit. I hate new basketball.
My all-decade team, I'm definitely... Sorry, Zach. I thought there was a transition.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm taking out AD and I'm replacing Kawhi. I'm going Steph, Harden, KD, Bron, and Kawhi. That would be my 5.
I would agree with that 5 too. I think Westbrook deserves more of a bid than AD, to be honest. I don't understand. The only reason I understand them putting AD is because they want to construct it by position, and I feel like a part of me feels like the only reason why they want to put it out and construct it by position is so that they can push that narrative and push that agenda of like AD being part of all these grades when he's been withering away on a terrible team all these years. Because everyone else on all these lists are successful players going deep into making deep runs, and AD is the only guy that they're plugging in there now. And I feel like that's.
What about another center not getting any love? that was on more successful teams, Marc Gasol. He won much more games and was much more successful. He has a Defensive Player of the Year. He was considered probably the best big for like a 2-year stretch. I'm just saying, like, that's another big that should get a discussion, would be Marc Gasol. Much more successful on a more successful team with the numbers to back it up for most of that decade.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I like where your head's at. I get where you're going.
Boogie
Got Defensive Player of the Year award.
Boogie has a point, but Boogie was on bad team.
And he got hurt a lot towards this back end. So, like Zach was saying, how it's so, like, recent memory. Your recent memories of Boogie are, like, not your best memories of Boogie.
That was the best big man in basketball, 100% until he got hurt.
Yeah. No doubt.
He just wasn't. The crazy thing is they always knocked DeMarcus for not being a great defender, but he was, like, always top in the league in charges. So he was still protecting the paint just in his own.
He was great. He was all around. He was both sides. DeMarcus Cousins was no doubt both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Clipper all-decade team, though.
I wouldn't say he was an elite defender, but he was solid. He held his own.
Clipper all-decade is funny, and it gets a little tricky. I think we can all agree on the big three from Lob City. Obviously, I don't think there's any way you construct any sort of Clipper list over the last decade and not put those three pioneers of kind of this franchise over there.
Chris Paul, Blake, Ryan Hollins?
I'm not even going to hate on it because you see the Bruins above my head.
Yeah.
I feel you, Ryan. Let's go. Hollins is always welcome here.
Victor David Fimbres, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Any day, Ryan.
Victor David, good luck.
We're talking Clipper all-decade team at the moment. And the big three obviously make it Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. No doubt. Right. I think the last two are the hard spot.
I would say three. I think all-decade teams should also have the sixth man in there, and I think it's a shame that Bleacher Report and a lot of them didn't put a sixth man on their list of the decade.
It should be a sixth man. Yeah, I agree.
Because we are literally living in the decade of the two best six men to ever roam the basketball universe. So I think it would be really cool if they were on this list. For the Clippers,
That's a tough thing to say.
I don't know. I just think the way the game's played now,
Victor David, write in your all NBA decade team. Who your five of the decade?
Benny Johnson was the microwave. They didn't call him that for nothing.
Yeah.
He's not Jamal or Lou.
Like the way the game's.
No.
So the other three spots in that Clipper decade team, you're looking at a 2, you're looking at a 3, and a 6 man. I would say JJ Redick gets the 2. He was just on that track record of great teams. I don't know. What do you guys think about JJ on the 2?
I would put Jamal. JJ played 4 or 5 years with us. I'm no doubt putting JJ there. And then Jamal's the 6 man. He won all the 6 man year awards.
I would construct it that way. I think I know where Terrence is going with this. What are you doing, Terrence?
My all-decade team would be. Are we going whole team or?
I was just saying, as far as like putting Jamal in the starting lineup, I'm assuming you were going to say then you would put Lou as the 6 man, and then that's what I'm saying, and then you would put Lou as the 6 man of the decade.
Exactly. Get out of my head, man. But yes, that's exactly how it's going. I would put Lou at the 6 man. I love JJ, I really do, and it's tough not to put him on this list. He should be starting on this, and I have no issue if you guys putting him on an all-decade team, but. I don't know. Like you guys said, those are two of the baddest 6 man.
Who just joined? I didn't get to catch it, but write something so I know. We're talking all decade teams. Write in your all NBA decade teams and your all Clipper decade teams if you do have a Clippers one.
You got Jamal as the 6 man and JJ as the 2?
Yeah, I just think JJ played 4 or 5 years. He was almost always healthy. He was huge for us. I mean, the one year I think he averaged like 18 points a game. I mean, he was on the best Clipper teams of all time. He was a pivotal part. Like, he was key to those best Clipper teams of all time.
So here's where it gets weird. That's Jacob's boy. Prigioni gets an honorable mention. He said Prigioni.
That's honorable mention. That's my guy, dude. That's my guy. Prigioni? Come on. That's honorable mention. He's on the Knicks decade team. Come on.
Like, I want to give a quick shout out to Blake Griffin because that man is the greatest Clipper ever. And he is so damn good, and they don't give him enough respect. He could win a championship as a first option, but he probably is a second option. You just got to give him some good options around him. But Blake's really damn good at basketball. People don't give him enough credit. I hope he gets traded.
He evolved his game. He turned himself from a dunker into a complete basketball player, and he doesn't get enough credit for that. Right
Straight
there. He evolved his game. Every year he improved something upon his game.
Because I never thought his jumper would be as wet as it is now. Because that shit used to have it was so stiff, but it is get it out the net now.
He got step back 3-ball gamers and shit. Like,
like all those games. Crossover. Off the cross. Like, what? Blake is in his bag. So,
yeah, he got a bag.
Super dope for Blake.
But the tricky part of this list, we can all agree, is that 3 spot. It's been a decade of just horrendous, sickening, Some pathetic,
bad,
some serviceable. Three play at that small forward.
It was always the missing link.
I say
the three position was always the missing
Paul
link.
Pierce?
The whole day.
Truth. Oh
Like that-
God,
that
get him
joke.
out of here.
Terrence, don't ever bring up Paul Pierce's name ever again. Ever again. Disgrace to that NBA set. Everybody who's joining in right now, write in your all NBA decade teams, and we'll discuss what you think your all NBA decade team is right now. If you can write it in.
Paul Pierce was a good. He had mad game on the Celtics. So not a Paul fan, but Paul was good, dude.
Oh, for sure on the Celtics, legend. I don't know. I go Matt Barnes. I go Matt Barnes at the 3. That's me personally. I think. Oh, we're losing Jake. I don't know. I got lips for Jake. I got no sound for you. Sorry, brother.
I muted my mic so I could talk to the live.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you. I would say Matt Barnes. Me personally, I know the stats probably won't prove it. He didn't score a lot of points. But like Jake said, he was on some of those most successful Clipper teams in history, and I felt like he was kind of like a heart and soul, Pat Beverly type for that team, enforcer. I just, if I think of like the most successful teams, who was playing that position was how I brought it down. But who do you guys think?
I'm going Gally. I'm gonna go with Gallinari.
I agree.
Gallinari was a big impact on that team last year, and he just wanted to better. Like you said, that position always had it was a revolving door, and he was the one time that door stopped moving until they finally traded him for a superstar. So I feel like Gallinari was
it was only what 3 seasons, but he played a lot for a guy that was kind of injured for most of his career coming into being a Clipper. Like that was one thing you were worried about. Danilo Gallinari played a lot. He produced almost every night. He did what he was supposed to. And last year's Clipper team was actually like a really like important team in Clipper history. And for what they did, no All-Stars, won 50 whatever games, or 40, 48, 49, 50 games. I think it was 50 games. And then took the Dubs to the limit like that, made them make a lineup adjustment in Game 7. It made Steve Kerr coach as an 8 seed. They beat 2 games. They won one in Oracle. Obviously, the greatest comeback in playoff history. They did the 30-point comeback. Like that Clipper team was insane. It was honestly, Zach and I said it plenty of times, one of the funnest to watch. Brian Simeon said it multiple times. He says it all the time on this year's broadcast. Last year's Clipper team was the funnest team he's ever had to broadcast. Danilo Gallinari was your star of that team. Him and Lou Williams. They were the stars of that team. Tobias Harris gets traded and Gallinari held it down. I would no doubt put that Danilo Gallinari on that spot for sure, for me at least.
Tough. No Al Farouk Aminu love?
So should have been Paul years ago.
Yeah. Dude, that was the worst pick in Clipper history. We didn't do that segment. I remember we talked about it, but that was mine for the worst draft picks in Clipper history. Mine was Al Farouk Aminu, no doubt. That was the worst pick.
Though I do remember during the lockout, obviously we all know Paul George is from Palmdale. He came back through to 24-Hour Fitness, and his brother was there. I'm blanking on his brother's name. His brother used to always come through and hoop with and Lancaster all the time. And his brother, I remember this adamantly said that they were happy at the time that Paul went to the Pacers. So maybe it all was a blessing, and the man is here now, and it's all working out great. So,
yeah,
championship is coming. Amino took the L just to get a W for us years later.
Yeah, I was back with management that was just not acceptable to be running a franchise, and thank God all those people are done. I liked Matt Barnes at those times. He was good, but that's tough. All right, so let's go back in time. We all did our very happy New Year's celebration, our all-decade stuff, which, by the way, I wasn't even aware that it was a new decade until I saw all these all-decade teams pop on my timeline the day before, or I guess you would call it New Year's Eve. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I'm old and washed.
Yeah.
Interesting. But before that was the big Clipper win on a Christmas Day. Like we said last time, and I'll preface it by this, it's small potatoes. It's still just a win in December, but damn, does it always feel good to beat that team and hear them cry. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to say it like that. They had a lot of confidence coming into this game. They were amongst the hottest teams in the league. Really good story since we beat them last time. And there's nothing that a fan of that other LA team could say to a Clipper fan and feel even good about saying it, because they know that they just can't beat us right now. And it doesn't feel good for them, which makes it feel good for us. Xmas Day, everything. Give it to me. Someone go.
Fuck yeah.
Let me go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because that game, I've done this already before. Let me do it one more time. I'm sorry, Patrick Beverly. Like, my man, dog. Like you, my man. Like you just bring that dog. Just be you forever and continue to be you. Like, do you, man? Like when he stripped LeBron for the game and was in front of the bench mimicking the step back look down, it was like, oh, like this guy. I love this guy. I love this guy. That game was great. The stars showed out. Kawhi showed he was the best player on the floor. The Lakers, that's a good ass team. Like they'll be around when it matters. But
I believe Terrence did pick the Lakers to win the game. I do believe that was the case.
I gave my public service announcement to Patrick Beverly.
I mean, for 2.5 quarters, you looked great with the pick, but I think the win. First off, just fuck yeah! Like every time, that's the best way to describe every time the Clippers beat the Lakers is just fuck yeah, dude.
I guess it's
small potatoes,
the Clippers.
But at the end of the day, like that's the team you want to beat, and that's the team you want in their heads. That it's tough to beat you. Like that's what you want is that in that team's heads. And I mean they battle. That's just I think it spoke to the Clipper depth. That was the first game all year that there was nobody on the injury report. It was the first game all year they had that. And it showed what a tool that's going to be the whole year. That's going to be a weapon for the rest of the way. A weapon.
Paul didn't play well that game though, but I'm not worried about him.
He battled.
Paul didn't play well, and they came back. Big against. It was they were down 15 in that game, and like that's just
as always.
As this team always says, it's waves. I mean, it's wave after wave, and you gotta battle wave after wave of this Clipper team, and it's so tough. Zeus, I'll keep saying it. Zeus got to get more than 17 minutes. He's got to get 22 minutes a game. He has to.
I always think about this in games like that. It's still a blacktop team. We lost it. We lost it for a little bit in that stretch of bad play for a few weeks. Kind of got away from it. But in games like that, when they show up against good opponents and they win the way they did, coming back, using their defense, it's still a goddamn blacktop team, man. They just play like they're at the park on the blacktop with their friends. There's a couple football players out there that don't even know how to hoop, but they just playing hard, giving you energy, rebounding, like throwing up BS that's gonna go in. Like it's just like it's like you're not even thinking of the score anymore. You're just like going every possession, and it was a good game. And I think it broke a little bit of that confidence that the Lakers were riding. Obviously, do I think the Lakers are done? I still think they're one of the top 2 best teams in the Western Conference and probably top 3 of the league. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I do think they did feel a little reality in that game. Like, damn, this team is for real, and that we need more than what we have. Yeah. That game.
We all follow a lot of Laker fans. We have a lot of Laker coverage in our face every day, and I will tell you right now. Deny any Laker fan at me at the pod. Deny it if you want. Say whatever you want. You guys were so confident that they were going to beat us on Christmas Day. They were confident.
At halftime,
they were riding.
At halftime, it was set in stone. AD's joking with Kevin Hart. Like, it was almost like it was too good to be true at that point. I feel like.
Yeah, and it was like it was like you said, a reality check. You came back down to earth, and you were like, it was just like when they faced the Bucks. Like, when both LA teams faced the Bucks, you got a reality check. Damn, there's actually really good teams in the league, and we're not going to run away with this thing. And I think that was a moment in the season for the Lakers, and it feels good when your team does that.
But you could say, if you're a Laker fan, though, that they needed these humbling moments to build them. So you can look at glass half full or half empty, depending on however you. So
no doubt, and I'm sure if the Clippers had lost that game, I might have a little bit of that in my tone as well. Is we needed this so we could build on it and know what it's like to lose. Of course, there's some of that for the Lakers, and if they're a good team and they've got good leaders, which they do, I'm sure that some of that's going to work, and that's actually going to happen for that team, and they're not going to forget about this. These 2 teams match up again at the end of the month. Like, get ready for Chapter 3. You think the Lakers by then aren't going to have another 6-7 game win streak, riding high, feeling good again? Because they probably will, and you're going to go right through this whole battle again. But I think every time you beat that team, it really does take something out of them, and it really irks them and annoys them. And I think it's good for basketball, and I think it's really good for both LA teams.
Those games just worry me with LeBron. Like those are the games that show he's in year 17 more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't get the whole Kuzma beef. Like, well, he was running from Kawhi and this and that. I'm gonna say this about that whole situation: if you're depending on 35-year-old LeBron to cover Kawhi the whole game, then your team's in trouble. Like, LeBron shouldn't be guarding Kawhi in his prime for the entire game. I mean, at times maybe he can guard him. It could be anybody, bro. But like, that's not really LeBron's job in my eyes anymore. Like, if that's what you're depending on, then you're nuts.
That's his job in the fourth if he wants to. But
maybe, like, you know what I mean?
I'm okay with him doing it in the fourth.
Terrence, I want to get this question before we get off track. Terrence had this before the pod. He said, "Does this show that load management works? Not work? Does this have anything to do with load management? The way that the Clippers they looked spry and rested down the end of the game. You had LeBron complaining about a groin. AD's constantly banged up. They play 40 minutes a game. Is there any of that here? What do you guys think? I think a little bit. I think there is a little bit there. I think the Clippers were relatively more healthy because of the way they managed their roster.
I mean, the Clippers look spry down the stretch, right? Playing only 25 minutes a game every night. They looked real spry down the stretch, and I feel like that's part of that load management.
To me, it's just the wrong team isn't doing load management.
I agree.
The team that has the old man
is trying to prove a point.
Pedal to the metal. Two guys in their prime is like, hey, bro, we just don't chill for it. It makes no sense when you really think about it. Like, if you took the names off and was like, which team should do it, which team's actually doing load management, blank, and then you look at the rosters all names on it, you like the roster with the 37-year-old guy, like the team with the old guy. They should do it. Nah, they're not. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And like, LeBron is still a great player. It's no knock on him. But in games like this, if he's going to be playing so hard in the games that they really do need him to step up against another alpha star in the league, I don't know if he has that much left in the tank anymore, because that man has been going to the bottom of his tank for year in and year out. Like, God, how much possibly be in that tank?
I don't know, man.
I think you're going to see a lot more Laker load management down the stretch. For sure. They have a back-ended schedule with more back-to-backs down the stretch, more comp down the stretch. I think you're going to slowly start seeing those guys sit a lot more minutes in games and miss a lot more games.
But LeBron is trying to settle for threes now, and that is not going to get it done. Everyone in the world knows that's not going to get it done.
You've won if you force LeBron to shoot like that. You've won.
Yeah. I think that I was really excited with Kawhi's play, because with the loss to Milwaukee, we were bummed because we were always saying, look, if you're going to load manage, you better show up when Giannis comes to town, when Luka's in town, when LeBron's there. And he did this time. He did. The Milwaukee game, they didn't play well, but he did this time. And that's really what it's about. If you're going to load manage, then, you know, obviously he's always going to, for the most part, handle when Memphis is there and the teams that are still building. But the test is, when the big dogs come to town, can you produce because you're load managing? And he did against the Lakers, and that was the most important thing to me. Kawhi's kind of in the zone again, by the way. I don't know if you've looked. His last dozen games, he's averaging about 30 points, 11 rebounds, 6-6 type numbers, 2 steals. He's kind of finding that zone again right now.
I'd like to see a little more efficiency from him and Paul. I'm seeing a lot of 6 for 20 nights, and I'm not liking that.
I think that's that black.
They hung over for the Jazz.
What's up?
Did they give everything they had for the Laker game and kind of just was hung over for the Jazz game?
I think it was a little bit of that. Like Colin Cowherd always talks about this. I know you guys don't really care for him, but he makes a good point here. Like the layoff after a big win type thing, you don't really, like you said, like you just don't come as prepared, as checked into the next game.
Hard to lock it in.
It's hard to lock it in at the same level, and I think there may have been some of that. Like, you were so jazzed, so locked in, so big on the Laker win, you let that next one slip, which I don't like. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of that's on coaching. You got to get the guys, geared up again.
Because if they would have lost that Laker game, they probably would have went out there and really blitzed the Jazz. So
Jazz would have lost by 50.
I want to know. I want to know one thing though. How bad can Patrick Beverley's injury really be for this team? How if he misses an extended amount of time?
If Pat's starting to miss a lot of time, that's going to be a problem, because they do need his intensity. We talk about it all the time. That dude is the heart of that team. They do have guards that can step up momentarily, especially with Shamet coming back. Derek Walton surprisingly has looked really good in this.
He's improving.
So they got guys that could step up in a short span if Beverley does miss time. And especially if Darren Collison, who we haven't mentioned yet, gets brought to the...
He's looking like what the doctor ordered, if you ask me.
Man, we've been talking
like a guy that could get the troops in order, don't he?
We've been talking about that playmaker. They need somebody
guy who can get everybody in order.
Yeah. And like he can knock down shots. What we've been talking about, the guy that you could rotate, stand still, knock down the three. He's a good defender. He's a solid veteran playmaker.
2014 Darren Collison was
what we called for. That's what we called for.
Yeah, I do agree. I think he's linked to both LA teams. What's crazy is he would make so much. He's better than Rajon Rondo. I'll say it. I'm not gonna lie to you. If he comes in, he's still got gas to take. He's probably better for that team than Rajon Rondo. So I think both teams could really use him. I would love to see Darren Collison. Another thing, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. I mean, we're running a little long today. David Stern, R.I.P. He was our commissioner our entire existence getting into basketball, and I think we can all agree that from the time we picked up loving basketball to where it was when he gave it to Adam Silver, it was incrementally better. It was global. It was fresh.
It was
the best ran sports association in my opinion of the three that we watched on a regular basis. He had great confrontation with wasn't afraid to tackle interviews, that type of stuff. You have so much stuff popping off now, right? Because he passed away, so everyone's putting out videos and stuff. And he was just a guy that he was a litigator before he was a commissioner lawyer, and he just loved to argue and loved to get into debate. And it was so good for basketball when something would arise and he would go on someone's show and not be afraid to jump into it. And I think some of that's rubbed off on Adam Silver, which is really good. But yeah, I think basketball was, and we can make the joke, we think David Stern every day because he gave us Chris Paul as Clipper fans, but put that aside, I think just the game of basketball was so good while he was commissioner.
He made it global. Like, David Stern was by far, in my opinion, the best commissioner in sports. He did it all. He did everything. Well, he didn't do everything right. Nobody's perfect, but he had a great tenure, and I got nothing but respect for him. He definitely grew basketball to where we are at. I do think it is kind of interesting, how people are basically now saying how he put all these stars in these major markets. So in other words, he was definitely fixing games to make the game global. I used to say as a little boy, damn it, why my Kings couldn't win. But I understand it though, because look at it. Look, we reaping the rewards now. Basketball's global. The two of the best players in the league aren't even from this country, and Giannis and Luka. So David Stern was just a visionary, and the man was great at what he did. Rest in peace. It's sad.
This is funny, actually. When I think of David Stern, I do think of Terrence on that note. When I first met Terrence, we had was it chemistry class, I think, or a PE? It was right. We had PE together.
Mm-hmm.
And photo. And I mean, we're 16, and I'm so excited about Clippers and basketball. And every time I would get so excited, Terrence is just this sad Kings fan, but he's always like, David Stern fixes the NBA, brother. I don't know what to tell you. And I never wanted to believe him. And then, Clipper history. I started texting him like, you might be onto something here, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do think of that, but just you guys said it all. Made it more global, expanded it. It's a growing market and getting bigger. It's everything. We love it, and we got to thank him. And rest in peace, dude. That's really my David Stern bit.
Another thing, real quickly, I want to wrap this up at the end as well. We can all agree. Can fans please stop being allowed to vote for All-Stars? I'm sick of it.
Taco Fall has 100,000 votes, dude, and I love Taco Fall. But why?
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Andrew Wiggins are both averaging like 20 plus a game, phenomenal seasons, and are nowhere near the All-Star ballot, and it's sickening. It's sickening.
Is Devontae Graham on the East? Because he should be.
No, he's not. No one that's worth being there other than like the stars. They're all
But the players didn't vote for LeBron. Like when they did the players vote, 150 people didn't vote for LeBron to make the All-Star team. Like players. So players are haters too.
Yeah, that's haters too. We gotta find a better way to do it.
Terrence, you have hometown news I know you wanted to touch on. Come on, dude.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the man with the plan, PG-13. He brought another park to the hometown. This one is even more special, especially special to him because it was the place he grew up getting shots at. Dominic Masario. It's on the east side of Palmdale.
I grew up playing Little League baseball there, man.
A lot of All-Star games there.
A lot of All-Star games.
I used to have my youth basketball practices there when I was a kid, so that's from the ground up when you was pooping outside for practice.
December 29th, officially Paul George Day, mayor of Palmdale, let that happen. So phenomenal.
I hope he does Desert Sands next. That's my home court, so I hope that one comes next.
Like how LeBron talks about how he's just a kid from Akron, Ohio. We got our own. We got a kid just from Palmdale, California. He's a superstar. It's pretty dope to see.
He ain't from LA, awesome. No matter what you read or see. He ain't from LA.
And it's awesome he gives back. A lot of people don't give back, and it's really cool that athletes in today's generation really are believing in giving back and supporting their community. So nothing but respect to that, man. Thank you for doing it and growing the community. It's awesome.
All right, Jacob Handy Sci-Fi Hour before we get out of here. Obviously, if you haven't finished Mandalorian, holy shit, it's the best episode ever, 10 out of 10. And to get your new Game of Thrones fix in, The Witcher is fucking insane. Henry Cavill is nutty with the blade. Superman, you're a freaking monster. If you haven't watched The Witcher yet, woo! You need to watch the show.
Do not watch. I do not watch. I disagree. Jake and Zach, I do want to get these NFL picks in because I know.
Zach I was so
inspired.
Say it.
Quickly, go quick. Quickly. AFCs, go first. AFC, go.
Bills. Bills, Patriots. Bills, Patriots.
Terrence.
Bills.
And.
Wait, no.
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
Bills over the Texans, and what about the Patriots and Titans?
Oh wait. No, it's who's the Patriots?
Titans
and Patriots.
Titans and Patriots.
Texans.
I'm
going 1%.
I'm sorry, my bad. It goes Texans, and then it goes Patriots.
Okay.
Bills lose.
I got Bills and Pats.
Okay.
Go, Zach,
NFC.
go.
Seahawks and Seahawks. Yeah. Seahawks and Saints.
Seahawks.
And Saints over Vikings. Yes. Oh, goodbye, Jake. We lost him. We lost him. As always, man, we had a good episode. We had a lot of fun. Jake was under the gun there. He had some technical difficulties popping off. But I got Seahawks beating the stinky Eagles, and I got the Saints.
Whatever. Ravens winning it all.
Yeah. Ravens winning it all. Big trust out. EP.9 in the books, man. Always good. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. 2020, make it your best year, man. Much love from all of us.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.